If I could sit before you now, I would not judge your restless cravings or fleeting distractions. Instead, I would ask, do you know the true enemy that keeps you chasing shadows and wondering why fulfillment slips away? You are not lazy, nor are you cursed with a weak will. Rather, you are caught in the grip of a silent, invisible force. Dopamine. Once this force served your ancestors, driving them toward survival and discovery. Today, it serves the world's endless noise, pulling you into cycles of seeking without ever finding, promising happiness while delivering only emptiness. If your days blur together, always striving, never arriving, understand this. You are not alone, and you are not powerless. The moment you awaken to this hidden influence, you stand at the doorway of transformation. You can learn to see the cravings for what they are, to turn your distractions into fuel, to break the patterns that keep you running from yourself. I promise you this. If you stay with me through the end, you will gain more than understanding. You will receive a new map for your inner world, one that reveals why you're stuck, how to reclaim your freedom, and the rarest methods to turn even your deepest cravings into real purpose. By the time we finish, you will no longer be a passenger in your life. You will be the author. Dare to keep watching, and the next few moments may change how you live the rest of your days. Every time you check your phone, eat junk food, get a like, or even fantasize about the future, your brain releases a tiny burst of dopamine. This used to help us survive, finding berries, escaping danger, feeling love. But now, you're surrounded by dopamine traps. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, endless notifications, fast food, sugar, drama, outrage, even gossip. The feeling of just one more episode or scroll. Your brain loves quick hits, so it learns to ignore slow, meaningful effort in favor of instant pleasure. Jung warned, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. That's dopamine's trick. It makes you run from discomfort, so you never confront what you really need to change. Result? You're exhausted, distracted, and feel like your best self is always just out of reach. You wake up determined. Today, I'll finally get things done. But by noon, you're lost in distractions, old habits, maybe feeling guilty for wasting another morning. That guilt isn't weakness. It's a side effect of a brain rewired for stimulation, not achievement. Dopamine wants you to keep chasing, not to finish, not to grow, not to be present. And in 2025, the world is engineered to keep you hooked. Here's the brutal secret. If you don't understand how dopamine works, you'll always feel like a slave to your urges, your phone, and other people's approval. That's why you see so many people with potential, but no results. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, saw this trap before most people did. He believed, the more you avoid pain, discomfort, or emptiness, the more those things run your life. Dopamine teaches you to run, to check out, distract, numb, escape. But the cost is huge. You never build focus, because your brain expects rewards instantly. You feel like an imposter, because you're always starting and never finishing. You stay busy, but avoid the hard, deep work that changes your life. Jung would say, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Right now, most people's fate is dictated by their dopamine cravings. Ever notice how exciting it feels to plan your new habit, dream, or goal? But 2 days in, you lose all motivation? That's dopamine at work. It rewards the idea of change, not the grind of real transformation. Dopamine loves novelty, so you jump from goal to goal, always chasing, never arriving. That new business idea? Exciting until you hit a boring part. The gym? Motivating for a week, then. Back to scrolling, reading, learning, working on your craft. So easy to replace with one quick dopamine hit. It's not a personal failure. It's a brain chemistry war, and most people lose because they never see the enemy. Society says, if you're not winning at life, just have more discipline, just want it more, just push through. But this advice ignores how the brain really works. If you live in a dopamine-saturated world, trying harder just means burning out faster. Your willpower isn't infinite. Your environment shapes your habits. That's why you feel stuck in cycles, on, off, motivated, lost, ambitious, numb. Jung understood that change never happens by force. It happens when you see the real cause and turn inward. Ask yourself, how much of your day is spent creating versus consuming? How much time do you spend producing, building, learning deeply, compared to chasing the next quick fix? Dopamine addiction makes you a consumer, never the author of your own life. Jung believed that true freedom is found in self-awareness. Until you see what runs you, you can never change. Ever wondered why you still feel restless, empty, or like something's missing? Even when you have everything. Dopamine gives you endless highs, but never real satisfaction. Like chasing a horizon that always moves away. You can have all the apps, comfort, distractions, entertainment, and still feel hollow. That's because nothing outside will ever fix the inside. Jung wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." It's time to face yours. If you're still with me, you're not just another dopamine zombie. You're already different from most people, because you want the truth. And here's what most will never know. When you break free from dopamine's grip, even a little, you don't just get your time and focus back. You get yourself back. You get to choose what matters. You get to create instead of consume. You stop running and finally arrive. In the next part, I'll show you the step-by-step path to break dopamine's cycle, using Jung's psychology and practical strategies you can use today. If you're serious about finally taking control, stick with me. Comment below with one thing you're ready to stop chasing, and subscribe if you want to reclaim your mind. The real work starts now. If you're still watching, it means you're ready for real change, not just hacks, but actual transformation. You already understand how dopamine is tricking your brain and why you feel stuck. Now let's dig into how to break free from that invisible grip, step by step. Here's the brutal reality. Most people will keep living the same day over and over, hoping for a different life, but doing nothing different. Why? Because it's easier to stay comfortable than to face the truth. You can't out-discipline a brain addicted to shortcuts, but you can rewire it. Step 1. See the triggers for what they are. Start by noticing the patterns. When do you reach for your phone? When do you crave junk food, comfort, or distraction? Is it when you're bored, tired, anxious? Or when you're about to do something hard? Jung taught us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Most people don't notice their triggers, but if you pay attention, you'll see a script running your day. Little urges that pull you away from what matters. Write them down for a day. You'll be shocked at how much of your life is spent on autopilot. Step 2. Interrupt the cycle. The moment you notice a craving or distraction, pause. Don't judge it or shame yourself. Just notice it. This is dopamine, not destiny. I'm not weak. I'm being manipulated. Even a 5-second pause is powerful. Every time you interrupt the cycle, you take back a little control. This is how you start making the unconscious conscious. Jung called this active imagination, shining a light into your habits so you can finally choose differently. Step 3. Replace the empty high with something real. Dopamine-driven habits always feel good in the moment, but empty afterward. The real fix isn't just say no. It's replacing the empty high with a deeper satisfaction. If you reach for your phone, try taking a breath, standing up, or stepping outside. If you crave junk food, drink water, or move your body for a minute. If you want to avoid a task, set a tiny goal. Work for just 2 minutes. It feels small, but each time you choose a real, present moment action, you train your brain to seek real rewards. Jung believed that meaning is found in what you do, not what you avoid. Step 4. Make boredom your superpower. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Boredom is the doorway to your deepest breakthroughs. Most people run from boredom, straight into endless distraction. But boredom is where your mind rests, heals, and starts to see what actually matters. Carl Jung would say, in all chaos there is a cosmos, in all disorder, a secret order. If you can sit with boredom just for a few minutes a day, you'll start to see your real self, beyond the cravings. Try this. Once a day, put your phone away and do nothing for 5 minutes. Let your mind wander. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but soon you'll feel ideas, solutions, and energy you forgot you had. Step 5. Seek real joy, not cheap pleasure. Dopamine loves the quick fix, the swipe, the snack, the laugh that fades in seconds. But what gives you real joy lasts longer. Think about the last time you finished something hard, a workout, a project, a real conversation. That satisfaction is quiet but deep. It's meaning, not just pleasure. Jung believed the purpose of life is not happiness, but meaning. When you pursue meaning, pleasure follows. But chase pleasure, and you lose both. Every day, choose one thing that gives you meaning, something creative, something you build, or someone you help, even if it's just 5 minutes. That's how you start rewiring your brain. Step 6. Don't go alone. Find your allies. Nobody breaks free from dopamine traps alone. Most people hide their struggles, thinking they're the only ones. Jung believed healing comes from connection, from sharing your story, not hiding it. Talk to someone about your real struggles. Tell a friend, journal, or comment below. You'll realize you're not broken. You're just human. Surround yourself, even virtually, with people who want more out of life. Read, watch, and learn from those who've walked the path. Every connection is a reminder. You're not fighting alone. Step 7. Make the unconscious conscious every day. Dopamine habits are sneaky. They hide in routine. Jung's real secret was this: change doesn't happen once. It happens daily, in small choices. Make reflection a daily ritual. At the end of the day, ask, where did dopamine win today? Where did I choose meaning instead? What can I try differently tomorrow? You don't need to be perfect. You just need to notice, pause, and choose, even once. That's how you take your power back. The cost of ignoring this. Here's the hard truth. Most people will keep living out the same cycles, chasing dopamine, running from meaning, and calling it life. They'll wonder why they feel empty, restless, or stuck, never realizing it's not the world or fate. It's the invisible force they never learned to control. But not you. If you're here, you're already more aware than 99% of people. You've seen the script. You can rewrite it. What Jung would tell you now? Carl Jung would remind you, the greatest enemy of growth is not failure, but unconscious repetition. He'd tell you, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. If you feel frustrated, stuck, or bored, it's not a problem. It's an invitation to wake up. A promise and a warning. If you choose even one of these steps, pausing before the scroll, choosing meaning over distraction, sitting with boredom instead of fleeing, you'll feel something new, a glimpse of freedom. But if you ignore it, the cycle will only get stronger. Each day wasted makes the habit deeper. The world wants you distracted. But you can choose to wake up, to live, to create something real. In the final part, I'll share Jung's rarest advice for transforming your cravings into creative power, and how to never fall back into the old traps, even when life gets tough. If you're ready for the final breakthrough, don't stop now. Comment below. What's the biggest dopamine trap in your life? And subscribe if you're committed to escaping it for good. If you've come this far, you're not like most people. Most never make it past a few minutes before some urge or distraction pulls them away. But you've stayed. You've chosen self-awareness over comfort, truth over easy entertainment. That alone means you're already breaking the script that runs most lives. But now comes the final transformation. How to turn the force that once held you back into the fuel for everything you want to become. Carl Jung understood something most people never want to admit. Your problems don't disappear just because you ignore them. In fact, what you deny only grows in power, beneath the surface, driving your choices, stealing your energy, shaping your destiny. Dopamine is the messenger of every urge you run from. The hunger to be liked, the itch to check your phone, the anxiety you silence with comfort, the emptiness you fill with noise. But Jung didn't teach us to become cold, numb, or force ourselves into endless discipline. Instead, he showed us how to transform the very forces that seem to control us. Step 8. Befriend your cravings. Most advice says, just resist, just say no. But Jung's path was different. He taught, if you want to stop being controlled by your cravings, you must first understand them. Ask yourself, What am I really seeking when I scroll, snack, binge, or chase approval? Is it comfort? Escape? The thrill of possibility? If you listen closely, every craving is a message from a deeper part of you, a shadow self, longing to be seen. Instead of shaming your urges, try this. Pause. Notice the craving. Ask, what do I actually need? Sometimes you'll find the urge fades on its own. Other times you'll discover a truth you've been running from, like loneliness, fear, or simply the need to rest. When you meet your cravings with curiosity, they lose their power to hijack you. Step 9. Channel dopamine into creation. Here's the secret almost no one will tell you. Dopamine isn't your enemy. It's your energy for life, your drive to act, your spark for the new. But in the modern world, that spark gets hijacked by endless distractions. Jung would say, redirect it. The next time you feel a restless urge, try creating instead of consuming. Write one sentence. Draw, even if you're not an artist. Move your body for 30 seconds. Tidy your space. Start a conversation you've been avoiding. Turn the energy that once scattered your focus into something small, but real. Creation rewires your reward system. Each time you use a craving as a cue to build, learn, or share, your brain learns to seek satisfaction in what lasts. Over weeks, those tiny acts stack up. Your dopamine becomes your fuel, not your trap. Step 10. Build rituals, not just habits. Habits are powerful, but rituals are sacred. A habit is just something you do. A ritual is something you choose with meaning. Jung understood that transformation comes when you add intention to your daily life. Pick one small ritual that marks the real you taking control. It could be as simple as making your bed, lighting a candle before deep work, or 5 minutes of journaling at the end of each day. Treat these rituals like promises to yourself. When you keep them, you remind your brain, you are not a slave to craving. You can choose what matters. Step 11. Transmute restlessness into insight. Restlessness is the calling card of dopamine, anxiety, boredom, the itch for something else. But Jung saw that every restless moment is an invitation to look inside, not outside. Next time you feel that tension, try sitting with it, just for a minute. Ask, what wants my attention right now? Is there an idea I've ignored, a feeling I've buried, a truth I've refused to face? So much of your growth is hiding beneath the surface, just waiting for a moment of silence. Sometimes the thing you're running from is exactly what you need to face. Step 12. Rewrite your story, one choice at a time. You are not doomed to repeat the same day, the same cycles, forever. Jung believed the most powerful act is to become the author of your own life. Each day, ask, am I living on purpose or on autopilot? Am I running from discomfort or growing through it? Is today another page in someone else's story or the first sentence in my own? The old story of distraction, avoidance, cheap pleasure is always waiting for you, but the new story of meaning. Creation, conscious living, begins with the next small choice. What happens if you don't change? If you ignore this message, nothing tragic will happen. At least, not at first. You'll keep getting those short, sweet hits. You'll keep scrolling, numbing, avoiding. But one day you'll look back and realize you traded years for moments. You chased feeling good, but never felt alive. You lived everyone's life but your own. Jung's warning echoes, the greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of the parent. But the truth is, many never live their own life either. The real prize, a life you choose. If you make even one change, one pause, one creation, one honest conversation with yourself, everything can shift. The more you train your brain to crave meaning, the less you need the empty rush. You'll notice more energy, more clarity, more moments that actually matter. You'll start to feel the rarest feeling in the world. Satisfaction, not from outside, but from within. And this is what Jung really wanted for you. Not a life without cravings, but a life where you are finally in charge. The challenge. So here's the challenge for you right now. For the next 24 hours, notice every time you reach for distraction. Choose one moment to pause and do something different. Create, reflect, connect, or simply to sit with your feelings. Then come back and share in the comments what you learned about yourself. If you're ready to commit to this path, subscribe and join the journey. Because the world is noisy, but meaning belongs to those who choose it. Remember, dopamine isn't destiny. You are more than your cravings. And your best life begins the moment you stop running and start creating. Thank you for staying to the end. Your mind will thank you for the rest of your life.